Hello, I'm Luis de Matos.
I'm Raymond Crowe.
And we are both looking forward to see all of you in Amsterdam.
Welkom op Informagie.nl. Leuk dat je kijkt naar dit korte videoverslag van ons bezoek aan de Illusionists. Nou, we hebben een illusionist meegenomen uit Nederland. Hè. We nemen altijd iets mee uit Nederland. In dit geval de manipulator, de Nederlandse manipulator, niet Takes. Ja. Je bent mee om te kijken naar Illusionists.
Zeker, ik ben onwijs benieuwd, ja.
Ja, want dat is jouw grote voorbeeld.
Toch wel, het is toch een icoon onder de manipulatoren, dus ik ben onwijs benieuwd dat ik het nou te laten zien.
Ja, wat verwacht je van Illusionists?
Ik verwacht weer een topact, ik verwacht foutloos, ik verwacht alles. Ik vind het fantastisch, in ieder geval.
Ja. En nou weer toch spreken, hè? Dat is toch altijd even leuk. Hoe is het met je nieuwe act?
Gaat goed, ja, dus de ontwikkelingen blijven zich doorgaan, dus het is onwijs leuk.
Ga je naar Blackpool?
Ik ga naar Blackpool, ja.
Hij gaat naar Blackpool, mensen. Hartstikke leuk, dus dat scoopje hebben we al. Nou, we hebben natuurlijk Nick Takes bij ons. Frans de Groot is er ook, die gaat een verslag schrijven. En dat kan je lezen op Informagie.nl. En we gaan ook nog met wat illusionisten in gesprek, namelijk Luis de Matos en Raymond Crowe. Niet te verwarren met Aaron Crowe, dat is weer een ander. In ieder geval, hier ons verslag van de Illusionists. Geen idee. Nou, zoals ik net al zei, we zijn bij de Illusionists. We staan op het punt om naar de show te gaan. En ja, bij ons zijn even aangeschoven hier in de Green Room Luis de Matos en Mr. Raymond Crowe. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
First of all, it's my greatest honor in your busy schedule that you found time to talk to us. I have a lot of questions, but first I want to know the Illusionists. How is it to perform in such a big, spectacular show?
Luis, you're good at this.
It's great. I think it's a privilege, it's an honor, and it's a pleasure. And all of these things because of different reasons. First of all, it's a privilege to share the stage with other magicians that you admire. That's the case of Raymond Crowe, and we learn with him every day, and we share opinions and thoughts, and we try to think and analyze what happens in every show, or every audience reaction, or every new little bit that we try. And that is a constant learning process that is incredibly enjoyable and enlightening. That's one of the things. The other thing that is, I think, very important, both for us and magic in general, is that due to this production, the Illusionists, whether it's the one touring in America, or the one we are touring currently in Europe, or the one that they have currently in Broadway, I think there is a common denominator which ends up being amazing for magic and for all the performers involved, and also for the audiences. And that's the fact that this show is playing highly prestigious rooms that some of them never had magic before, at least for the last 100 or 200 years. To be able to share magic on stages like the Sydney Opera House or the Dubai World Trade Center, or the Auditorio Nacional in Mexico, or the Folies Bergère in Paris. Of course, it's a very good personal pleasure, and it's great for our egos because we love it. But I believe it's also good for magic, because it puts magic on a place where people cannot find it usually.
Yeah. Magic is all over the world. The Illusionists is all over the world right now. My experience is because I saw the very first version of the Illusionists back in the day in Germany, and that is why I am confident that this is also going to be a spectacle. Let's roll a small clip of what you are doing in this show. Raymond, we saw just now you in the role of the unusualist.
The unusualist, correct.
And you are the master magician, and there's also a manipulator and all kinds of personalities. But what makes an unusualist unusual?
In Australia, I didn't have many role models as magicians. There were a couple of very good magicians, but early on I decided I'd learn mime, so that gave me another skill, pantomime. Puppetry, I always loved puppets, and ventriloquism, and so I got to combine some of these disciplines over time, and I would ask people after the performances, how would you describe what I do? And they'd say, well, it's unusual. So I thought, well, I'll call myself an unusualist. So when the Illusionists came along, they said, oh, we'll keep using the unusualist title. And so it's worked out very well for me in Australia, because when they employ me for a corporate function, let's say, they get a magician, a visual comedian, hand shadows. So it's like a variety show, one man perform a variety show. So that's why I called myself the unusualist.
Okay. Yeah, that was for me personal out of interest, because I'm a magician in my spare time also. I know your work, but there are a lot of people that do not know your work. We all know, you just told us you're from Australia, but can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Okay. Well, I'm from Adelaide in South Australia. I've been performing since I was full-time, since I was 21 years of age. How old are you now? A little older, Luis. Okay. And for me, what's really nice to be able, I always wanted to work in Europe. When I was young, I would see clips of European acts, and I always admired them. And so the fact that, but Australia, I had my own area that I worked, and I would travel out occasionally. So the great thing about the Illusionists is that it's been able to, you take your work to other countries, and what's really nice is that even though you're from another culture on the other side of the world, it still resonates.
Yeah.
And that's really good. And when I was studying mime, my mime teacher, Madame Zora Sembrová, she was Czech, Slovakian, and she'd say, you must be human. If you're human, you can work anywhere in the world. If you're just blah blah, no, some people will swallow it, but not everyone. So that's where I sort of slowly worked. You know, and I'm a great fan of Charlie Chaplin and all that era. So really, I'm more a retrospective act in this show, really, aren't I? I'm like a throwback in some ways, because it's more vaudevillian, I guess, variety than some of the more modern acts. And I got to say also, in the show I get to perform my floating jacket, which is because of Tommy Wonder, and it wouldn't exist without Tommy Wonder.
Yeah.
And he encouraged me to work on it, and so to perform that in the Netherlands would be beautiful.
I'm so looking forward to the floating jacket, and I
I talked to Tommy once, and he also described about stuff about floating, what I'm not going to mention right now. I'm sorry, guys. It's a great technique, and that's all I'm going to say about it. And I really want to compliment you about the way how you cherished that technique you built.
Oh yes, well it can't exist without him.
No.
So yeah. People forget quickly where ideas come from.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So,
ideas come from a lot of media these days, all the teachings, and that makes a little bridge to your work again, because you're also a teacher in a way on your DVD or tricks you are selling through the well-known magic shops. I'm not going to dive into that because there's no time for that. But we also have younger magicians watching at this moment. That they are starting, and they have a dream to stand in a show like the Illusionists. Do you have a tip for them?
Well, before answering your question, since you mentioned the Essential Magic Collection and continuing what Raymond just said, I must say that the Essential Magic Collection would not exist without Tommy Wonder. And the reason is I was incredibly lucky to be a close friend of Tommy. And he came to Portugal many times. He did my very, very early first TV series, and then every new TV series I have done, he was always the first guest. And also live shows. And one of the things that I realized when we all lost Tommy is that Tommy was never properly captured on tape. Meaning that all the genius and all the thinking from the amazing mind that was Tommy Wonder was never properly captured. Well, being my friend, I feel guilty, and having today the possibilities of having a studio and doing our own TV series, I said this will never happen again to a friend of mine. So the Essential Magic Collection is the result of me going to the people that I admire the most. There's no other criteria, there's no commercial criteria, there's no anyone deciding but me. I find these names that I truly admire, and I just want to make sure that they will be properly captured, whether they are young or older, but they will be captured, because in 100 years' time it's important that future audiences and future magicians know that these geniuses exist. And if this was made more often, probably the magic art would not be the slowest developing art in the history of mankind. And the reason is because magicians are constantly reinventing the wheel. They come up with a double lift where the finger is like that, and they think they did an amazing contribution to the art of magic. Well, they didn't. And the reason is that we don't study, or we don't have enough documentation of what was done prior to us 50, 100, 200, 300 years ago. And you can only evolve if you acknowledge what has been done before.
True.
Now, your question, my tip, if someone wants to be in the Illusionists, I would say, don't try it. It's like fame. People think that having an amazing booking, oh, because I was hired to do this job, I want to be hired to do that, I want to be famous. They believe that's the goal, and that's never the goal. That's only the consequence. So when you think about where you are going to dedicate your work, your time, your thinking, don't think of a specific thing, like being on the Illusionists, or like being famous in your neighborhood. It doesn't worth the time or the effort. You try to be good. And if you are good, lots of other things will happen. And that's just a consequence. It's never a goal.
Okay. Wise words from a wise man.
No, it's just a personal opinion. I'm nothing else.
Yeah, it's your opinion, but I'm also a fan of your work and yeah, I'm clinching to your lips. Yes. More. No, it's so great, and it's an honor. And sorry.
Promotion for him.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to how you say it? Round it off.
Yeah.
Not sure. Yeah, okay. And then, if you don't mind, we're going to make a small promotion for this interview, this video, and the report on the show. Well, okay, yeah. Louis, Raymond, thank you so much for your short time for this interview. I hope you have a great show in a few moments. We have to run, indeed, and I know I'm going to enjoy. And I see you in Amsterdam.
Yes.
That will be on the show will start on the 11th of January, if my information is right, until the 15th of January. And if you don't have tickets, go buy them, because the show, you must see this. Thank you for your time again.
Thank you so much.
And see you in Amsterdam.
See you there. Thank you. Thank you.
Great.